Hoops Junction. Vladimir here. You call me Vlad though. Today we're talking about if the New York Knicks make the NBA playoffs this season. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's not a question of if they can make it. It's they damn sure better make it. It's with a roster like the way that they're built, they should definitely be making the NBA playoffs this year. I mean, their roster has completely changed. They have the right mixture of athleticism and youth mixed with great veterans. They have players like Jerry and Grant, Kristaps Porzingis, Clay Anthony Early, Langston Galloway, all youth. And then you mix that in with great starters such as Carmelo Anthony. You have a solid center. I don't want to confuse the Lopez twins. I'm going to get his name for you right now. Robin Lopez. And then you have Aaron Aflalo. So right then and there, they are a playoff team. They could definitely make some noise in the NBA playoffs. Hopefully make it out of the first round. But they should be making the playoffs. Now, one thing that has to be said is if the Knicks do not make the playoffs, I don't necessarily want to hear anybody say anything about Phil Jackson. I don't want anybody to say anything about the system. I want them to say something about Carmelo Anthony. If Carmelo is not a good enough leader to lead this band of Knicks to the playoffs, then you can go ahead and trade him right away because the East is so weak. I mean, last year the Pacers were fighting to get in the playoffs and they were like 37-44 or something. So if you can't make the playoffs in a weak Eastern Conference, they revamped your team, they drafted pretty well, and you have solid role players around you. That speaks volumes. That speaks volumes. And I'm a Carmelo fan. I love Melo. I think he's a top 20 talent. Top 10 in my opinion. I really, all those people that say they take Kevin Love over Carmelo, I don't see why you would do that. But truth be told, this year, more than any other year, I feel that Carmelo has a lot to prove. I feel like he has a lot to prove because they've taken away all his security blanket and his safety net. So there's no more J.R. Smith. Chauncey Billups is gone a long time ago. So everything that's been familiar to him is gone. So now he needs to show to everybody why he is who he is, why he gets paid the big bucks. And I know he can do that. He has the opportunity to do it, and he has to show it. Because if the Knicks do not make the playoffs in this awful Eastern Conference, I don't know what to say. Because the Hawks are not the same team anymore. They lost Amari Carroll. The Pacers, the Pacers should be making the playoffs also, but they're not at full strength. They're still figuring a few things out, but they still are dangerous. So, I mean, the Hornets, garbage. The Nets, garbage. So I mean, you have to make the playoffs. You have to make the playoffs. I mean, it's imperative that they make the playoffs. There's no way around it. There's nothing else that they can do. The way that I see it, and the way that they're built, they're a playoff team. They have solid depth at pretty much each position. I'm glad that they got rid of the knuckleheads. I'm glad they got rid of J.R. Smith. I'm definitely glad they got rid of Iman Shumpert. I love Shumpert, but the issue with him was after the 4 years, I think this was his fourth year last year, he was who he was. He is who he is. I don't think he was getting any better. And it kind of showed in the NBA Finals where he couldn't flourish because he just wasn't ready to elevate his game to the next level, In New York, he was very temperamental. And LeBron kept that in check in Cleveland, but his issues battling through his blockage of taking it to the next level showed itself in the finals where he couldn't score. So they got rid of all the knuckleheads. So now they brought in people that want to play. They brought in Robin Lopez. They get Derek Williams. High energy guy, which is what they need. They needed athleticism at the small forward. You definitely, in the NBA, you need athleticism at your small forward position. Hands down. You know what I'm saying? And he could come off the bench. You brought in a nice point guard in Jerry and Grant. Kristaps Porzingis, length, size. The Knicks, the Knicks, when they have Robin Lopez and Porzingis on the court, they look like the damn Twin Towers. It looks like the return of the Georgetown Hoyas. It's really scary. You know, it's scary for anybody coming down there thinking they're gonna just get anything and eat. You know, so right then and there, the only thing that makes it work is Carmelo Anthony. So this season, for all the Melo haters, you know, and all the Melo haters, you know, I haven't been able to defend my boy. You know, I love him because I love Melo because of the simple fact that Melo's a G. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's a G. You can call him a gangster, you can call him whatever, but to me, G stands for he's genuine. He doesn't play any foolery. He doesn't play when it comes to his family. He doesn't play when it comes to his money. But for some reason, he's been playing around when it comes to the game. And I think this is when it all stops. I think that his injury last year and just the things that he was going through personally and fans getting on him and him his true nature getting exposed, him being a little vulnerable, he's going to use that to fuel his teams into the playoffs this year. I think all that talk about Melo's not a top 10 player, I think people are going to start eating their words because, you know, at the end of the day, he is a top 10 player. You know, like you gotta stop talking about this. Like, people have to stop disrespecting the guy. You know what I'm saying? But he's really genuine, and I know he could take the Knicks to another level. You know what I'm saying? So right then and there, you know, Knicks fans, don't worry. Come playoff time, you're gonna see New York playing somebody. I don't know who. I don't know what seeding they're gonna have, but they're gonna be in the playoffs, hands down. And if they don't make the playoffs, just, you know what you're gonna do. This is what you're gonna do. You're gonna take that jersey, that number 7 jersey. This is what we're gonna talk about. All right, you're gonna take that number 7 jersey, right? You're gonna put a little lighter fluid on it, real slow, a little lighter fluid. You're gonna strike a match. You're gonna burn it. Because if the Knicks cannot make the playoffs with a decent squad and a superstar in this Eastern Conference climate, I don't know when they ever will. So, but that's my take on the New York Knicks making the playoffs. It's not a question of if they can. They will make the playoffs. Okay? So don't worry, Knicks fans. Peace out. Yeah, forgot to tell you, this is Hoops Junction, where hoops meets hoopla. You know, check us out at www.hoopsjunction.com, all one word. Hoops Junction, where hoops meets hoopla. Peace.